Elara's fight had ended, but her heart longed for home. And in the silence, she left the world she knew. But peace was not hers to claim. She awoke in a place of fire and shadow. And then he appeared, Lucifer, a being both terrible and magnificent. Her heart raced, and the world around her seemed endless and cruel. He watched her, curiosity flickering in his gaze. With trembling steps, she began to explore this harsh new world. Figures moved in the darkness, lost souls, silent and watching. She reached a precipice, feeling both fear and awe at the world around her. And there he stood, and she understood. She was far from home, yet not entirely lost. Elara walked through the shadowed expanse, each step echoing in the emptiness around her. The ground beneath her cracked and smoldered, heat rising in waves that brushed against her skin. Figures drifted in the distance, some barely visible, lost souls wandering in endless torment. Memories of her mother flashed before her eyes, warm smiles and laughter that felt impossibly far away. She touched the air, her fingers brushing against invisible smoke, trying to hold on to something familiar. Lucifer's presence lingered nearby, silent yet commanding, guiding her gaze toward the unseen horrors of this realm. She felt the weight of countless regrets pressing down, the despair of those trapped in this place. Yet amid the fear and sorrow, a faint spark of resolve glimmered within her. She lifted her chin, her eyes narrowing slightly, determined to understand this place and why she had been brought here. Every shadow seemed to watch, every flicker of flame telling a story of pain and loss. The world of hell stretched endlessly, a chaotic symphony of heat, shadow, and longing. And through it all, Elara's fragile form pressed forward, a solitary figure of hope in a realm that had almost forgotten it existed. Elara felt a sudden pull, as if the world itself wanted her attention. Before her eyes, a vision unfolded, bright and sharp against the dark of hell. She saw her father, Daniel, standing alone in a room, grief etched into every line of his face. The walls around him felt empty, the silence crushing, and a weight of despair pressed down on him. He held a photograph of her mother, Grace, tears spilling silently as he whispered words only the heart could hear. Elara's eyes widened, her small hands reaching out instinctively, though nothing bridged the distance. She saw the bottle in his hand, the sharp glint of a moment that could end everything. A shiver ran through her, fear and desperation flooding her fragile frame. Her chest rose and fell rapidly, eyes glistening with unshed tears, lips trembling as if she could scream for him. Lucifer watched silently, wings partially glowing, his expression unreadable yet curious. Elara's gaze never left the vision. Her body trembled, but her resolve began to harden. Even in this place of fire and shadow, love pulled her forward, a force stronger than fear itself. The vision faded, leaving only the burning world around her. Elara turned slowly, her trembling gaze finding Lucifer once more. He stood tall and silent, the glow of his wings casting light across the blackened ground. Her lips parted, but no sound came, only a plea written across her tear-streaked face. Lucifer's expression softened slightly, curiosity flickering in his golden eyes. Elara fell to her knees, clutching her chest, her face lifted toward him in wordless desperation. Every breath trembled, her eyes pleading not for herself, but for the man she had left behind. For a long moment, he said nothing, only watched her, the ruler of hell silently studying the fragile spark before him. The air between them shimmered with heat and emotion, her tears turning to faint steam as they fell. Lucifer's gaze darkened with thought, ancient and tired, as if remembering something long forgotten. Then, with a subtle motion of his hand, the flames around them softened, their fury dimming to a quiet glow. Elara looked up, hope flickering in her eyes for the first time since death claimed her. She felt light again, warm, weightless, alive. The darkness that had held her for so long began to fade, replaced by a glow that pulsed like a heartbeat. Golden light wrapped around her, soft and endless, and for the first time in what felt like eternity, she breathed, Her eyes fluttered open to find the world she had left behind. White walls, the faint hum of a machine, and her father asleep beside her bed, his head resting on his arm, his face worn by grief. For a moment, she only watched him, unsure if this was real. Then, slowly, she reached out. Her fingers brushed his hand, warm, trembling, human. Daniel stirred, confusion flashing across his tired face, and then, disbelief. His eyes widened, his breath caught, and the world seemed to stop. He touched her face as if afraid she would vanish, his tears falling freely. Elara smiled, weak but radiant, a smile that carried everything words could not. He held her close, unable to speak, and she clung to him just as tightly. The pain, the fear, the endless nights, all melted away in that single embrace. Somewhere beyond the veil of light and fire, Lucifer stood alone. His golden eyes reflected the flicker of the mortal world. In his palm, a spark of her soul glowed briefly, then dissolved into mist. He said nothing, only stared upward as a trace of sunlight broke through hell's darkness. He simply walked into his throne room happy and smiling.